Panel, we live in a world where in most countries drug usage is highly prohibited. That results in a way where individuals have to buy drugs or psychotropic substances in a dangerous or illegal way, which results in many destroyed futures as drug abuse is illegal and results in crime and punishment, destroyed lives as there is no guidance on how to use these substances, many health problems as drugs are ought to be bought from unsafe sources. This has to end. In my speech, I will present a frame and two key arguments and the stance why creating Amsterdams in a high drug usage cities is a necessary idea. Amsterdams in cities with high levels of drug use is a controversial topic, that's for sure. We argue that these design areas can help to reduce drug-related crime and harm and can also generate revenue for the city. Model, Amsterdams would be regulated and monitored by trained staff to ensure safety and medical guidance on how to use drugs safely. The sale of drugs within Amsterdam borders would be regulated and taxed. The revenue would then be given to the city or any charity organization. We stand for the safe usage of drugs or any psychotropic materials in the area of Amsterdam. We stand for the creation of Amsterdams in cities with high levels of drug use as a way to reduce unsafe usage of psychotropic drugs. Moving on to my first argument. So, Amsterdams would prevent the drug abuse and addiction. As it was mentioned in my status quo, in today's strict drug policy society, drug users buy psychotropic substances illegally from so-called drug dealers or just any unsafe sellers. This results in a lot of addiction or drug overdose cases as individuals do not have the right guidance. In our world where Amsterdams do exist, drug users would have a privilege to use drugs way safer and supervised by doctors and professional staff or just with the right medical guidance. How would that work? Well, imagine a teenager who struggles with mental health problems. Soon he finds himself addicted to hard drugs. Which situation is better for a teenager to be abused by the system and strict anti-drug policy, to be called a junkie and be excluded from any possible way to have a future, because that is how it is in our society, which team opposition stands for, or to have a place in neighborhood where you can use drugs with right medical supervision and without fear and discrimination, and one day even to have hope to quit addiction and have a life. We as team proposition stand for the second option. Why is that important? Well, if Amsterdams would ever become true, the world would change significantly. A, there would be way less drug abuse or overdose cases as people would have drugs in safe and protected / supervised environments. B, addiction cases would drop as using drugs in Amsterdams would be mentally less challenging, and the idea of drugs and psychotropic substances as medication against mental illness could finally become true. I will present my layer to my argument. Amsterdams would reduce the stigma around drug usage. So we live in a society where using drugs has to be done secretly, as individuals fear to be discriminated, to be caught and abused for doing that. Amsterdams would let people to understand drugs and try them without fear of getting caught or bullied, as it was done for literally decades. How would that work? Our public mentality is to immediately reject everything that is new and used by minorities, in this case drugs. Amsterdams would let everyone, no matter the age, of course children are not included, buy and sell drugs and enjoy their life in new ways. I'll present my second argument. Amsterdams would generate new job places and revenue for the city / economy. Panel, we live in a society where buying drugs only benefits the dealers themselves. Imagine a world where drugs would become a part of the economy as alcohol is. Drugs are popular, so popular that Pablo Escobar gained billions from it. And although the example is not ethical, as he also killed thousands, but it reflects on how we could use drug selling as a way to boost our economy. How would that work? Amsterdam would provide a place for different drug sellers, either they are individuals or corporations or just small business, to sell psychotropical materials legally. In that case, the seller would be induced to pay taxes proportionate to their income. For example, a drug seller wants to earn for a living, so he goes to Amsterdam, starts selling drugs without fear of getting caught, and launches his business. Because government gives the seller place for his business, the seller would have to pay taxes, just like the simple business, and it was done for decades, proportionally of what they earn, for example, 10% of their income. Why is that important? As I mentioned in the intro of the argument, drugs are popular and extremely profitable. The taxes sellers would pay the taxes sellers would severely boost our economy and create more jobs in that particular area. And yes, team opposition might say that the Amsterdams do not address the root of the problem, which is why people use drugs in the first place. Saying that would mean that we are ignorant to the simple human nature. Drugs have been used in the beginning of human era as a way to relieve fear and anxiety, become calmer, and some scientists would even argue to treat mental illness. Amsterdam would provide a safe and secure place for people to use drugs for medication and even fun. In conclusion, the Amsterdams would provide us with job, economy boost, opportunities, and overall safer usage of any drugs, addiction treatments, and the relief of public stigma for drugs.